Good morning, St. Francis. Good morning, people of God. It is Wednesday, the 28th day of December, 2022. It is 2 months to my birthday. It is the 4th day of Christmas, Wednesday of Christmas week. And it's also today the Feast of the Holy Innocents. Probably one of the most tragic, sobering, difficult days of this Christmas celebration that we are in. Again, this is the day in which Herod decides that in order to eliminate the threat to the throne that the newborn Messiah appears to be to him, that he must destroy every child, every male child that has been born within the last 2 years. Much in similar way that Pharaoh does when Pharaoh receives in the Old Testament that a deliverer has been born to take the Israelites out of slavery in Egypt. Pharaoh then, Seti the First, I think it is, decides to kill all of the newborn Israelite male children under the age of 2, or two and under. And so the whole scenario is repeated this time right after the birth of Christ. Again, it only appears in Luke's Gospel, and from it, Jesus, Mary, and Joseph will be told in a dream to take Jesus and Mary into Egypt, and that way they are protected from Herod's massacre. And then it fulfills a design that is in the Old Testament, that the Savior will come out of Egypt, because again that's where Moses comes from. In any event, again, the fact that Jesus is saved and the children are massacred is not a good thing. And again, this whole idea within the frivolity of our celebrations and all of the joy and all of the wonder and the gladness and family times and everything that seems to be so idyllic and hallmarked-ish, you have this horrible, awful day in which we are to remember this, and it just seems so it seems so absurd and not in keeping, again, with what our society and culture have turned Christmas into. And yet, again, this is the whole point, that this child comes to be able to face, again, the worst that humanity can throw at each other, when we do not have a Savior in our midst, when we forget who and what we are, when we forget, the hope that is born within us and the power that each of us possesses as the image and likeness of God, to do what it is that God asks us to do, and to be in many ways more than what we seem. And so in that first reading today from the first letter of John, which again we hear basically throughout the rest of the Christmas season, again, there is the acknowledgement that we are sinners. And again, that is so true, and it is right, but it isn't something that we basically harp on again and again. We should never move into pride and thinking that we have nothing wrong with us, and that our way is always right and we're all terrific and wonderful, because it isn't, and we know that it isn't. But the whole idea is, because our lives are broken, and our lives can turn into these horrible, awful things that allow for massacres of children to happen, it is God who helps to rescue us from that. It is God, the only one who can rescue us from that is God, the only one who can bring peace to this world, who can save us from all that is broken within us, so that brokenness does not become the only way in which we see ourselves or respond as ourselves, to the world around us. That it is this Savior who comes to us, and we need to realize that this is why this child has been born, not just to become a time, a frivolous time of festivities at the end of a civil year, or just a time that makes Catholics or any Christian happy to be Catholic or Christian. Again, this child comes for all people, to be able to transform ourselves and the brokenness and the pain that we can experience as ourselves into what we truly are, not the exception to who and what we are, but the truth of who and what we are, that we are created in goodness, that we are in our heart goodness, because we are part of this very good earth that God has given to us. Amidst the pain and the suffering that does exist in this world, we are not without hope. And the pain and suffering that does exist in this world, while we must mark it and remember it, are not the sum total of what it means to live and to be within this world and to be a part of this world. We are always something more. We are always destined for something more. And even those who depart from us because of the pain and brokenness that they experience at our own hands are not lost, are not forgotten, are not put into some kind of oblivion, but they remain a part of us. As difficult as that is sometimes to embrace and to hold on to, all of those who have gone before us are always a part of our lives, which is why we are so deeply connected as human beings, and why humanity is such a wonderful and glorious gift that God has given to us, that God decides to experience it himself in the birth of his Son. May that always allow us to have hope that is able to face down the pain and the brokenness of this world, and allow that hope to bring life wherever it goes. A continued blessed Christmas, St. Francis and people of God. May the Lord continue to give you his peace.